Welcome friends to my apothecary. Today we're going to be delving into natural immune boosters to keep you healthy during the dreaded cold and flu season. Honestly though, with all of the new viruses such as SARS, RSV, or even COVID, it's important to keep your immune system in tip-top shape all year long. Today we're going to be delving into the science and the tradition to 4 different ingredients, and they are Echinacea, Elderberry, ginger, and garlic. Let's get started. Echinacea is nature's powerful ally in supporting your immune system. For centuries, this vibrant purple cone flower has been used in herbal remedies and trusted for its ability to promote overall wellness. But how does it work? Echinacea contains bioactive compounds such as alkaloids, caffeic acid derivatives, and polysaccharides that help modulate the immune response. It works by stimulating phagocytosis, enhancing the activity of macrophages and other white blood cell counts, which play a key role in fighting infection. Research suggests that Echinacea may reduce the duration and severities of colds and flus by up to 50% when taken at the onset of symptoms. Echinacea is the root and the flower of the purple cone flower. It's been used for centuries by Native American cultures medicinally. Echinacea works on the white blood cell counts, particularly the macrophages. It acts on the cytosines or cytokines in the body to fight off natural pathogens. Studies suggest that it helps prevent or lessen the intensity and the duration of the cold and flu viruses by inhibiting the virus's ability to replicate itself. One of the most effective ways, aside from teas or direct brewing of Echinacea, is to make a tincture. So a tincture is any sort of herb, dried herb, or even a fresh herb, that is put into a menstruum, which today we're going to be using alcohol, but you can use glycerin or you could use vinegar. So what this alcohol is going to do is going to extract the medicinal properties of the Echinacea and put it into a liquid that can be then consumed. So we're going to make a bit of a mess, but this is how we're going to do it. We're going to add our Echinacea to our jar, hopefully not spilling too much of it. And then we're going to add this alcohol to cover it. Make sure that you seal it tight. Give it a little bit of a swirl. Label it, and then let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks in order to fully brew the tincture. Once that time has been completed, you will strain that off, and then you can bottle the tincture into a usable bottle with a dropper. It can be taken under the tongue with a direct dose, or it can be put into tea and or water to be consumed that way. Packed with antioxidants and bioactive compounds, ginger supports your immune system by fighting harmful free radicals and reducing inflammation. Its active ingredient gingerol helps your body combat infections while soothing sore throats and easing nausea. Whether enjoyed as a warm tea or added to meals, ginger is a delicious way to strengthen your defenses. Ginger isn't just for adding spice to your cooking or your baking. Its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties make it a superstar during the cold and flu season. Plus, it's great for soothing sore throats and nausea. In Chinese medicine, ginger is used to warm the body. It releases polyphenols, particularly called gingerols, that increase the core temperature of the body. And also, with that core temperature, improves the circulation, which actually may add relief or provide relief for cold extremities such as fingers and toes. Now with our first 2 ingredients, we're going to make a lemon and echinacea immunity tonic. It's very simple and it's super delicious. When you combine it with a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of honey, it's going to be a great throat soother. It's also going to boost your immune system, whether you drink it hot like we're going to today, or in warmer weather, you can drink it as an iced tea. But we're going to start with 4 cups of filtered water. And we put this on a burner, so we're getting this warm. We're actually going to bring this to a boil with a half a cup of dried echinacea. We're going to stir that in, as well as 2 tablespoons of peeled and sliced ginger. So I have that ginger sliced here, at least peeled at the moment, but we're going to put those slices right in the pot. I'm going to give that a quick stir. And we're going to bring that to a boil. Once your mixture reaches a boil point, we're going to take it off the heat, or actually we're just going to transfer it to another burner that's set to simmer. But if you're doing this on a single burner, then just reduce the heat and let it simmer for approximately 15 minutes. And we'll come back to this and we'll finish it up. All right, our mixture has simmered for 15 minutes and I'm just going to turn it off the heat completely and just let it sit for a couple of minutes while I prepare other things. So with this echinacea and ginger mixture, we're going to put it through a tea strainer. You can put it through a sieve or a coffee press, but I'm going to use one of my teapots because it's got the little plunger device and it will separate everything out and make it easier to pour into a cup. So what you're going to need is approximately a quarter of a cup of lemon juice for this mixture, but since I'm going to be making it in a single cup, I'm just going to cut myself some wedges. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and take my mixture and pour it into, while making a complete mess of it, because that's what we do. You can be neater, you can be messy, it's all good to me. And then we're going to plunge it going to pour a little bit into a teacup. Going to add some lemon wedges. I like mine extra tart. And then next, I'm going to add a little bit of honey from our beehives. But store-bought is fine, but we just happen to have several beehives, and why not? If you've got it, use it. So I'm going to sweeten that. To taste. I didn't bring a teaspoon over, so that's okay. We're going to just go ahead and toss that a little bit. And like I said, this can be enjoyed hot, or it can be enjoyed iced. Make sure that you blend the lemon and blend the honey in while it's still warm. Let it sit for a little bit and then pour it over ice so you don't melt all of your ice. So here's to your health. Elderberries. Tiny, jewel-like berries that have been cherished for centuries in traditional medicine. From ancient remedies to modern health trends, elderberries are a small fruit, but they pack a wallop when it comes to health benefits. But what makes them so special? Let's find out. Elderberries come from the Sambucus tree, particularly the Sambucus nigra species. Native to Europe and North America, they've been a staple in traditional medicine for generations. Used by ancient and indigenous people around the world, elderberries have long been celebrated for their medicinal properties. They were commonly used to treat colds, fevers, and even wounds. Modern science supports many of these traditional uses. Elderberries are rich in antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, which give them their deep purple color. These compounds are known to reduce oxidative stress and support the immune system. From teas to syrup, from gummies to supplements, elderberries offer a versatile and natural way to support your health and your immune system. But it is important to note if you're going to be using elderberries, particularly the fresh ones or even frozen, freeze-dried not so much, but let's be cautious anyway, is to make sure that they're thoroughly cooked. And also that you remove the stems and the leaves because they can become toxic and they can provide some level of digestive distress. And we want to avoid that at all costs. We're looking to be healthy, not in distress. So let's make sure that we're being safe when we're utilizing this particular fruit. One of the most popular ways to enjoy elderberries is in a syrup. It's high in vitamin A, B, and C. So it's often used as a natural remedy for colds and flu. It's good for preventative measures all year long, but particularly during the cold and flu season. Making elderberry syrup is really simple. Combine 1 cup of elderberries, whether it be dried, fresh, or frozen, in 2 cups of water. Now, to add extra flavor, and I like the extra flavor because the elderberries themselves can be quite tart, so I like to balance that out with a little bit of something. So when you think of wine or cider or whatever, you're thinking mulling spices to create that warm, spicy taste. I add 2 tablespoons of mulling spices to my elderberry syrup recipe. Now, you can buy these individually, which are cinnamon, clove, star anise, and orange peel. But you can also find them, particularly around the holidays, at places like Williams-Sonoma or Sur La Table, or even on the internet. Williams-Sonoma provides a really great mix. It's a dried mix of elderberry or of mulling spices, and it's very, very convenient. So I add 2 tablespoons of it to my mixture, and then I turn on my burner and I bring that to a boil. Once it's to a boil, we're going to turn it down and simmer it for probably about 30 minutes, maybe a little longer because these are freeze-dried. We want to make sure that we're extracting the maximum amount of flavor and goodness out of the elderberries. Well, all right, 30 minutes have passed. We're going to strain our elderberry syrup. Make sure you turn the heat off. And then carefully lift your pan and pour it through a sieve into a heat-resistant container. It's going to be a little bit messy. Just be careful. The elderberries do stain, so I'm thinking that this particular towel is kind of a goner, but you know, that's what happens. I'm not the neatest person in the kitchen. Once your elderberry juice is rendered and strained, make sure that you take your elderberry leftovers and even the seasonings, the mulling spices, and those can go straight out to the compost. So those, you're not going to waste those. And then while the juice is actually still warm, you're going to add your honey. So we use a raw honey that comes out of our own beehives, but you can use store-bought. Just make sure it is a raw honey. You can get it locally from farmers markets or from your local apiary or beekeeper if you know one. They do sell store-bought raw honey, but preferably get something local. If you can, at least bioregion local, which means the surrounding states. So we're here in Ohio, so Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, those are the types of places. As long as it's not too far out, maybe 100, 200 miles, that bioregion tends to have the same flora and fauna in it that we do here in Columbus. So it is technically still local. You're still getting that benefit from it. So it does help with seasonal allergies. So from a proportion perspective, you're going to add about half of the volume. This is approximately 1 cup, so we're going to add a half a cup of syrup at this particular, or half a cup of honey at this point to both sweeten and develop the syrup into a thicker, unctuous solution or potion if you like. Make sure you blend that with a spoon. It smells heavenly in here. Once you get that mixed thoroughly, you're going to allow it to cool for a few minutes, and then you're going to decant it into a bottle. Something that you can store in your refrigerator for a period of time. This will last about a year, if it'll last that long with you taking it, but freshness, about a year once it's completed. So, into a bottle. I like these hermetically sealed bottles with the rubber gasket. They look really pretty, plus they're very effective. Now, if I can be careful with this, I might not spill any more of it. But we'll see. One never knows. Again, allow that to cool completely before you seal it. You don't really want it popping in your refrigerator or on your counter or anything like that. So once that has cooled, once it's been stored, you can then feel free to take a tablespoon of this every single day. It's going to keep you healthy, it is going to taste great, and you'll get all the benefits of elderberries in something that is quite delicious. The old saying, what a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down? Well, a spoonful of elderberry syrup is medicine I'm ready to take. Garlic, nature's powerhouse. Packed with a compound called allicin, it helps boost your immune system, lower blood pressure, and fight inflammation. For centuries, garlic has been a natural remedy for heart health and even battling colds. Add a clove to your meals and unlock its medicinal magic. Garlic. This humble bulb, for centuries, has been used not only to bring spice and flavor to cooking, but also used for its many, many health benefits. Not just for its great effect on your circulatory system, your cardiovascular system. It can reduce cholesterol, it can reduce blood pressure, it can improve circulation, and then it's got great immune boosting abilities. It is a disease fighter and even has some purported anti-cancer properties. So garlic itself is antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial. So, you know, use as much of it as possible in your cooking and then also make medicines out of it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make two different infusions. Well, one we're going to make and one I'm going to show you. The first one is a hot oil infusion. So if you're getting ready to cook or you're going to make a volume of this, this is an oil that you can make, but then once it's strained off, you want to make sure that you put it into the refrigerator and then let it bring to room temperature, come to room temperature when you're ready to utilize it. Because you do want to store it in the refrigerator because you're making a hot infusion, you're tending to break the oil a little bit before you make it. So let's get started. So these garlic cloves need to be peeled before we use them. So I've got this terrific little silicone peeler. If you've not seen these before, you've been living under a rock. But these are the best little garlic peelers. They do save your hands from being real stinky with garlic, although I like the smell of garlic, so let my hands be stinky if they're going to be. You basically just put the clove inside the tube and you roll it. And out pops a perfectly peeled clove, which you then can mince, dice, slice, do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Once it's minced, go ahead and put it in your saucepan. Probably need a little bit more than that, and this is some garlic I diced up earlier. And then turn on your stove just to start warming it. Then you're going to add in your oil. Now we're going to be using some extra virgin olive oil and just pour it right in there. I have got a cat that is making lots of noise over here, so I'm going to get her and show her off. Come here, little one. Oh. Look at the camera, crazy cat. Look at you. All right, now I got to go wash my hands. You're insane. All right, now I've washed my hands from the kitty. We're going to let this oil warm up and infuse with the garlic for about 10 minutes. That's going to allow the oil itself to pull the allicin, the active component within garlic, into the oil and make it usable for cooking and also for other reasons. You could actually use it as a muscle rub. It's going to be very stinky, but it actually is very good for your muscles. So now we're starting to get a little bit of a sizzle here. So I'm going to turn that heat down and just let that warm. I don't want to brown the garlic, I just want to warm it through. Another way to make an infused oil that you actually can store at room temperature for a longer period of time, you still want to use it within 6 months, but there is a way to make a cold infusion of the oil. So you can see that here. Is just to take peeled garlic cloves, smash them a little bit, and put them into a cold oil, and then let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks. As long as it's sealed, it's going to act just like the olive oil on your countertop. It's not going to go rancid. It's going to be fine. But then once that is completely infused, you can just use that liberally in your cooking. Or you can use it in other recipes. So for medicinal rubs and things like that, you can actually use this cold pressed and cold infused oil. Garlic, it's an amazing little botanical. It's very easy to grow if you want to try to grow it yourself. You start this one in our hemisphere, or in this particular zone, in October. So you take a clove like this and you plant it with the root plate down in the ground. And then in the spring, you get sprouts. You can actually take the scapes off of it, which are the flower bulbs. Well, not the flower bulbs, but the flower pods. You can take those off and cook with them. And then once it hits July, approximately July, you'll see the garlic green start to die back. That's the time to harvest. And so this little humble clove will actually turn into, weather dependent, you have to have some cold periods in the wintertime, maybe even preferably in a freezing weather, in order for this little humble clove to actually turn into this bulb of garlic. So you take this bulb of garlic out of the ground, clean it. It can be stored all winter long. You can take pieces of it and use it in cooking just like we did before. You can also reserve some of your own grown garlic. Then for in the fall, take that apart, break the cloves out, and plant them and start that cycle again. It's very simple to be able to grow your own botanicals, grow your own healthy products, and have them year on year. And actually, the more you grow garlic in a particular place, the more it becomes used to that soil, as the French call it, the terroir. The soil, the environment, the greenery, all of those things become part of the garlic experience, become part of the actual garlic environment, and it grows better year on year.